My bad, Arabella. I shouldn't have told you to get your shit together in my last review, but let's get into this video. My name is Trey Francis. I am a screenwriter and an actor, and we're going to be reviewing season 1, episode 2 of I May Destroy You. It is a new show that is on HBO. It is starring, written, created, all that good stuff by Michaela Cole. So, in this episode, the opening image, basically we see Arabella and her friend Terry. They are talking about the night before. They're at lunch, they're in a diner, they're talking about the night before, and it's very clear that Arabella isn't remembering much, right? She doesn't know how she got the scar. She's really just unsure about a lot of different things. And then we see Arabella and Terry. They're walking down the street. Arabella's helping Terry go over her lines. And when Terry misses a line or whatever case may be, Arabella shows her phone like, hey, this is your line, or whatever case may be. And she sees Arabella's phone is cracked, and so she kind of confronts her about it. She's like, hey, why is your phone cracked? Of course, Arabella doesn't know. She cannot remember the last 24 hours of her life to save her life, right? Something has happened to her and she cannot remember. And so they get on the phone with Simon right away. They're calling him. They're blowing up his phone. He's avoiding Arabella, but as soon as Terry calls, because we're in the first scene of this episode, we see that Terry has known Simon longer than Arabella. They used to be closer, however, and she was kind of feeling some type of way because she didn't get an invite. But anyway, now they're walking down the street. She questions Arabella about her phone. Arabella can't remember, so she calls Simon. He doesn't pick up. Terry calls Simon. Now Simon has the time, so he pick up. He's like, I'm in the middle of a meeting. What's up? And Arabella's just like, hey, so like what happened again? Like how did we get from point A to point B? Because I don't know. I don't remember. You said that you walked home with me. However, or he walked her back too, because remember after she left the bar, she went back to the office so that she can finish her book and turn it in on time, right? Simon said, he lied. Like they do. He lied, said that he was there with her the whole time, but as we know, he was also fucked up on different drugs and drinks and stuff like this, so he has no recollection of last night's events. I feel like no any more than Arabella, so he's just lying to make her feel better about what happened, and he's piecing things together as she's telling him, because he doesn't know at all either. So, as they're making their way back to Arabella's place, right, her home, she's kind of talking to her friend about, hey, you know what, I have some new memories about like what went on, and she's kind of describing how it looked like someone was blocking a door, right, keeping someone from leaving, and that the point of view was from this person being down below and this other person looking up at this other person who's like, moving, and like there's this like door who's like hitting like this. I'm just like, girl, you're describing something that don't sound, and so Terry's starting to start the pieces together. She's kind of like, okay, like what's going on? Arabella gets upstairs. She shows her this video basically about from YouTube, basically about like these memories of that you have, but they're not yours, right? So because remember, Arabella doesn't remember what happened. She just has these memories of something that she necessarily hasn't attached to herself, because to attach it to herself would be too traumatic of a thing, and so she's trying to keep it distant from herself, and it's almost like, hey, I've seen this happen, but I don't know where and I don't know to whom, sort of thing, right? So since they caught what's his face in his lie, oh no, I'm jumping ahead. So then after that little scene, they're still kind of confused, but she sort of gets some sense of like, okay, if you say that's what happened, then I'm gonna kind of believe you, or whatever the case may be. So then we see Terry. She's at her audition. She knows her lines. She hits her mark. She hits her cue. But during the audition, she's suffering from some microaggressions, and we ain't doing that. And Juneteenth just passed yesterday. Like, we ain't doing that no more. So what's going on? So she's at her audition. She delivers her lines. They ask her some stupid question or whatever case may be, and then they ask her about her hair. And, oh, is that your hair? And she's like, well, I mean, yeah, like I bought it, like it's on my head. It's mine, yes. And, oh, well, well, and they ask her, well, you know, your hair is going to be played with. We have to wash it and do different things to it. Like, is that going to take? And she's like, well, yes, it's human hair. Like, it should operate just like any other human hair. And so then they say, well, does it come off? And it's like, I just said it wasn't mine, but it's mine as in I bought it. But yeah, it comes off. So they want to see her hair right then and there in the middle of the audition. Really? So she's just kind of like, so, I mean, not right now, but I can come back when it's prepped because it ain't looking like what you gonna want to see on camera right now. Like I had to, you know, do some things to it. They're confused about it. She finishes her audition. She walks off unsure of herself. The ladies end up scribbling something down, telling the lady basically like, no, she ain't the one because they're messy. So she walks off having had a horrible experience, and I've been in situations like this, as you, like I said, I act and stuff like this, and so I have gone to auditions where I have suffered the fate that Terry suffered because someone didn't know something or understand who I am as a person and wanted you to put on, you know what I mean? I'm surprised they didn't ask you to put on an accent or you know, because that'd be one of the first things. I'm like, no, I talk like this. Like, I'm pretty sure this should be fine. There's a lot of us who, this is how we talk. What's the issue? But there appeared to be an issue when it came to Terry at this audition. So then we skip over. Arabella and Ben, they're at their place, right? Ben is her roommate. So they're sitting there and they're watching something. Arabella admits that she has seen some more details from the night before. So as she's kind of describing some of the new details, Ben is kind of looking at some stuff, and then he goes into her bank account and he can see that she took money out from over here, I guess about $40. However, when she took it out was about 25 minutes across town, and Simon told her that he walked her home, and she's like, I know we didn't walk that fucking far. I know we didn't do that. So what is going on? Something doesn't make sense. So now we're back at Simon and Kat's place, and guess who's there? Arabella. Because Simon, something's not up, Simon. We don't believe your story. So since his story is unbelievable, Bella asks him, hey, did we take an Uber? He's like, yeah, I think we took an Uber. And so she's like, okay, bet. Show me your phone. And I was just like, oh. Pull it out, whatever you got in your pocket, I need to see it. So he pulls out his phone. She checks the Uber. She takes a picture of it, of the last place that he went to, right? She doesn't know what this address is, but this is the last address. So this is the case. I need to know where I went from this place to this place, and then how we ended up walking home from that place, right? So Arabella leaves. She rushes out of the place. Kat sort of on to Simon like, what the fuck, you know, what happened here? Like, something happened. I need to get to the bottom of it. But we leave it there because then we jump over to Arabella. So now Arabella, she's walking. She's gotten off she's in another part of town. She goes up to like this, I don't know if it's an apartment or a hotel. I can't really tell. But let's just say it's an apartment. She gets there. She knocks on the door. Guess who opens up the door? None other than beautiful Alissa. So Alissa opens up the door. Remember, Alissa was the girl that Simon is having an affair with. Even though he's in a relationship with Kat, he's having an affair with Alissa. Yes. And so she arrives at Alyssa's door, and first the conversation's kind of going okay, and then Arabella kind of gets into the fact that, hey, you know what? I really don't have great memory of the night before. All I remember is this. And then Alissa admits, hey, you know what? I really don't remember the night before, and all I know is this. And so in Arabella's head, she's thinking, okay, well, the only, I've sort of been seeing a little bit of something that looks like someone was taken advantage of, that looks like rape, right? Assault. The only person that we know, the two of us know, is Simon. Like, did he do, like, what is up with that? And she really didn't put it too much past that, but here goes, that was enough to piss Alissa off. So she starts reading Arabella her rights and cussing her out, and basically chases her off her stoop. So Arabella runs down the stairs. She gets the fuck up out of there, and as she's walking down the street, Alyssa's still up there shouting over the balcony at her. I was like, girl, hush. But she's upset that Arabella would even fathom Simon being a rapist, because she's like, that is not what he is. Like, Simon is a sweetheart. The poor boy is having heart palpitations or whatever the case may be because he tried to have her around the girlfriend, and the girlfriend wants vagina, and Simon don't really want that with her because he wants to keep this exclusive thing with Alissa, and I guess this exclusive thing with Kat. He wants his cake and he wants to eat it too. I've never understood that saying, but I know when to use it, and that is the case with Simon, right? So Arabella, she runs out, she gets in her Uber, she's out of there, right? So on her way over, on her way from leaving there, she calls Kwame, and then we jump to the last scene, which one of the last scenes where we see Arabella and Kwame, they're at the police station. So the police, they're asking them questions and about her memory of her assault, and Arabella's like, oh, wait a minute, ho. I didn't say this was mine. Like, why are you using possessive words with me as the possessor? Like, I never said anything about this being something that happened to me. I just saw something, so I'm trying to help you piece together a possible crime that doesn't involve me, although I'm the only one who seems to remember that this thing happened to somebody that is not me. And the police are just kind of like, okay. And so of course they get her in there to take a pee sample. They start to take pictures of her body, where she has bruises. She has some bruises on her hips, she has some bruises on her legs. Of course her face is cut open. It's just a mess, right? And so as she's sitting there and they're still being questioned, like I said, she's defensive about the questioning because she's like, hey, I don't want this associated with me. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe I need to get up from here and leave. And the police officer asked her, hey, well, do you remember what his eyes look like? And this kind of made me jump back to the last episode, which was called Eyes. This episode, which I didn't tell you the name of it, but this episode is called Someone is Lying. And as we know who this someone is, the someone in this case is Simon. His ass is lying. So we were here, they're being questioned. She asked Arabella, well, do you remember his eyes? And Arabella goes, yeah, like I do. I remember his face quite well. Like, if we want to get someone in to draw his face, if you want me to draw it, I think I can do a good job of it, right? And then she says, the police ask, well, do you remember who he was looking at? And of course, every time that we see the flashback of this guy raping someone, right? It's from the perspective of Arabella. Arabella is the person he's looking down at, right? So of course, when she gets asked this question, she immediately becomes emotional and she cries, and it's just you get the weight, right? The gravity has literally, all the gravity in the world is in this room right now, and her heart is broken, and her, it's like this revelation that it's like, oh fuck, like it is me. I just don't remember because of the drinks and the drugs and this, but that was me. And I know people who've been in this situation before too, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, that she realizes that was her. So then the next thing we see is the police, they take Arabella back to her place and they get her clothes from the night before as evidence, right? They need to test it and they see if there's any DNA on it so we can catch this culprit. Is it Simon? From our eyes, it ain't Simon. But is it Simon? We don't know. That's the main suspect at this point, according to the police, but we're gonna get to the bottom of this, right? So next we see Bella, Kwame, and Terry. They're all at Bella's place. And after the day that Bella has, I think after that release, right, she's finally able to go to sleep, because earlier in this episode, we heard that she has been up for the past, basically 40 hours. Like, she hasn't been able to sleep. So here we are, it's been about 2 days. She finally is able to go to sleep because she finally got the release that she needed, right? There was some sort of understanding. That weight was sort of lifted, right? Remember I said there was gravity, that weight was sort of lifted when she was able to reveal what happened. And so, before she passes out, Terry was trying to break down her audition and experience that she has, and you can tell that it really hits her, which is, like I said, this is me and a lot of my black friends out in LA. That be us. we experience some things, right? So it's very, you can tell that it really hurts her. But then Kwame's like, Terry, like, you know, and he points at well, I'm forgetting her name, Arabella. Arabella has passed out, and he's like, oh, like, you're really like affected by this. Like, this really, it was really that shit of an audition. And she's just like, yeah, like that's what it is. And so the closing image is of, we see Kat now, right? Kat decided to follow suit as Arabella did and go over to that last address that was on Simon's phone. And as she goes up to the door, she knocks on the door. Guess who opens it? None other than, we already know, Alissa. Alissa opens the door. Basically, she sees Kat, says, don't got time to deal with this fuck shit, and she slams the door in her face and she walks off, and Kat's looking stupid. So that's the end of this episode. I loved it. It was simple enough. It was quick enough. It was exactly what we needed. It keeps you really ingrained on what is the mission of the show. What are we trying to figure out with the show? I love it. It's very streamlined. I have to get my hands on the script because of the pilot script, because I've been working on a few pilots myself, and so I love to digest and kind of figure out how people write, and I love Michaela Cole's writing, so I'm gonna have to check it out in the written form, because of course I've been watching along as I'm gonna be reviewing this whole season. But that is all that I have, so I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna try to get this uploaded tonight because it is late, but we gotta do what we gotta do. So that is all that I have for you in this video. Of course, if you are new here, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Also, leaving me a like and comment helps out a lot, as I am a growing YouTuber. That is all. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.